Hey traders, Nick here. It is Monday, 4/18, doing homework after hours. So over the weekend, this was Easter weekend. Happy holidays, everyone. There were a few holidays. I shouldn't just say Easter. So I have a whole bunch of members, and we debate a whole bunch of things, and it's always lively when we talk about crypto. There are haters, there are doubters, there are lovers. I'm somewhere in the middle. I am a believer in the fact that money should go digital. Have you had anything in your life not go digital? It should all be digital, right? So eventually we'll have digital money. Whether the actual coins that we're dealing with now are going to be the money or not doesn't matter. You should get acquainted with the concept. So I've been tracking Bitcoin for a long time. I haven't been investing for a long time, but I have had a lot of success using nothing but charts and common logic. So I'm going to discuss something here. So my buddy Marvin from the chat room brought up something. I caught a conversation, a sidebar conversation between him and somebody else in the chat room, and they were talking about he said 10,000. I was like, who's that he guy? I don't remember saying 10,000. I remember pointing out 33, 44, 42, and then 33, and then 28, and then 20. I'm like, where did 10,000 come from? I was like, are you talking about me? So he was so kind to bring me the video where he thought I mentioned 10,000. So he went and watched the video again. And he said it was 12,000, not 10,000. I said it was going down to 12,000, and so he didn't buy. So that was the conversation. I was like, let me go back and see what I said. So here I am, Marvin. I'm not picking on you. I love you, man. I just wanted to clarify the position and invite you to rewatch it and listen to the tone and the words that were used, because they were almost exactly the same way I did them this last year. So for those who don't know, late last year, I did a video here when Bitcoin was here losing a neckline. I said, Bitcoin, if it loses 44 to 42, that's a neckline. It will trigger a head and shoulders that could have technical downside targets in the low 20s, technically downside to the low 20s. It wasn't falling sharply lower. I was bullish with my statement. I said, I'm looking for buying opportunities. So I wasn't saying like, let's short the hell out of the thing. I'm saying, hey, if you ever thought about Bitcoin, let's do some homework, get up to speed, open an account, and start buying. Here's how I'm going to do it. I said, if it falls, it's going to bounce somewhere on 33-ish. When it bounces, it needs to recover the neckline, which it's failed to do so. They kind of almost did here with the 46. They couldn't. I said, I will buy the first batch here, which I did, and I shared. Example, I didn't buy Bitcoin. I'm using Bitcoin to buy all coins that I like. And one of the coins I like is Solana. I bought Solana at 78. It went to 143 again. So I could have done, that's a good profit. But that's like the third wave of me booking profits. And I said, this one, I want to make it a core position, so I'm not selling. So as soon as I bought them, I bought Ethereum, Solana, and CRO. I staked them immediately because I didn't want to get tempted to trade them anymore. I've traded them 3 times. So I said, I'll buy batch 1 of 3. So let's say I meant to do 10,000. I was going to do only 1/3 now. And then I said, if I'm right and it loses this support eventually, and it falls to 28 to 25, I will do a second batch. And if it falls to the low 20s, I will do the third batch and maybe even double up. That's my plan. I did a video about it. And I thought Marvin was referring to that video. I was like, I never said 10,000. So he brought me the video that I did. Well, the video that I did that he was talking about was from July of last year. I think it was the 21st of July. So it was right there. It was losing this neckline. I said, if it loses this neckline, similar neckline, look at it, head and shoulders, gigantic downsides. I said, here are the words that I said in there that may have misled him a little bit or misinterpret them. I didn't mislead him. I was very surgically accurate because I said almost exactly the same word here. Well, he's the spirit of them. So I said, literally, it opens the door for 12,000. If you lose the neckline, it opens the door for 12,000. Those are, I didn't say it's going there. I said there are supports along the way, and I pointed to 28.8. 28.8 is here-ish. That's 28.7. There we go. 28.8, where the cursor is. And then I said the neckline is in danger. They have one last-ditch effort here, and I hovered the cursor around 28.4. So right here, again. I said they have a last-ditch effort here. I was looking at this candle right there. Those were my words. They have a last-ditch effort. And if they don't, there's more downside coming. Those are my little, if they don't, there's more downside coming. And then And then he said he didn't buy anything because I said it's going to 10,000. First, I didn't say it's going to 10,000. I said they have a last-ditch effort. Otherwise, the target could be 12,000. It has a downside, what did I say? Opens the door for 12,000. And then I said, literally, buy a little at a time. Don't overcomplicate things. Buy a little bit at a time. And that's exactly what I said here. Buy it in 3 batches. Buy a little bit at a time. So if you didn't buy it here, you could have bought it here. What's the difference? Not much. So buy a little bit at a time. I drew the comparison to the old school of trading in gold. Hey, gold's only going to go up because there's finite amount of it, and it's getting harder to mine, and people love it, so it's going to go up. Same, Bitcoin's even rarer than gold. It's a set number of Bitcoin. They're not going to add more, so it's going to always climb up. So the same setup that was back then is here. Leg 1 didn't unfold as much as it did here, but it was the same thing. If this happens, I do that. If they lose support, 12 may come, but they had a last-ditch effort, which they used. So the bulls pulled it off, but they still left. I did note the double gap down there, whatever that is. That's not healthy. You know what other stock looks like that? AMD. AMD did the same thing. They gapped up and built a whole castle with a huge head and shoulders, and they averted it. And then they jumped up a huge head and shoulders, and now they're below the neckline of the other head and shoulders. So I wonder if it's the same time frame. Not quite. So here, AMD jumped. There was a huge risk right there. Never fired. In Bitcoin, it fired and then it unfired because they had one last-ditch effort. Look at it. A whole castle on top of a stick with two holes. And then they build another head and shoulders on top of it now. And look at the neckline there at 100. And where are they now? They're below this neckline. So now bounces are likely to face a lot of sellers. And it's likely to bleed down to here. And so very similar to what we saw here. So again, the strategy with Bitcoin, or any coin in my opinion, is over time. I want to build a position over time because I think people, here's the thing, the more critics you have now of crypto, the more potential future late buyers later that are going to be buying in panic. It's as simple as that. So the more critics now, the more potential demand. How about that? So yes, there was a breakdown. Yes, it did point to 12, if not lower. They did use the last minute support, which all was mentioned in the video. And the most important bit about the whole video is buy a little bit at a time. Don't make big mistakes. You find opportunities, you pounce. I did here. And I said I would. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for bringing it up. Again, I'm not pushing back on you. I'm just highlighting what's important. It's important to pay attention to the message, not the perception.